several times with his knowledge of agriculture in this state and his basic, not opposition to, but very reluctant to go to things like a carbon tax and some other things that we might think were bold initiatives that have so many side effects that maybe you would want to think about them before you did them. And he also impressed me with his commitment to the fact that what I think has to change overall, the way we do agriculture, is a sure way to become food insecure swiftly. And I can't argue with him yet. I've got to go back and get our experts together and, say, I know this guy out in the highway and you need to go talk to him. Because we're looking at the exact opposite. Maybe we're looking wrong. So maybe that was very serendipitous, fortuitous, but, maybe I need to talk to this guy more. Maybe we need to get the American Farm Bureau involved. Because
we have issues with them.
Yeah. Well, the basic point he was making was that we've achieved what we've achieved in terms of the food security we have, which is vastly better than it was 100 years ago because of technology and because of productivity. So if you're looking at it from that perspective and you want to go back to the past in a certain respect and do what we're calling regenerative agriculture, and you want to adopt the world to it, you've got to take I think he was saying, you've got to take the overall comprehensive attitude that you don't want the population to increase at all. I might agree with that, but I don't have any control over it. And you want the world to adopt a non-growth economic model. Well, okay, I might be in favor of that too ideologically, but I am not in favor of it from a political point of view because we're going to start a revolution. And we're also going to hurt badly in the transition. So I don't want to be a part of advocating that until I'm a lot more expert on what it means. If you want to come off growth as an economic model, fine. I agree with you intellectually, but I don't agree with you practically. And if you want to say the world's population is not going to go to 10 billion because we're going to stop right now, I'm going to tell you that's politically infeasible. It's impossible. So you kind of got to deal with the world as you find it and change it as you can. By the way, that's a very conservative philosophy. So those progressives and others out here, I forgive you. Yes.
First, I think you got to watch out when you're talking to the Farm Bureau.
That's right.
They're industrial agriculture.
I'm sorry?
They talk a big talk, but they're industrial agriculture.
Yeah, they are.
Which means it's loss of topsoil,
Yeah.
polluting the country with all kinds of pesticides and so forth. And it's basically more food because of that. No, it's a type of agriculture that we have to move away from. And they want money from everybody to for certain farmers without having any goals to actually do what they claim they're doing.
Kathleen, where are you? Let's get him over there to the Farm Bureau. I don't disagree with you in my head and my heart, but I'm just telling you that I'm open to all arguments. And I heard a very powerful one this
They're
morning.
going to talk.
Yeah, and I want to take that back to our people, and I want to examine it, and maybe come back and tell him he's full of it. Yes.
Industrial agriculture is such a huge contributor to climate change. What is the military doing to prevent the U.S. government, USAID, from promoting GMO crops throughout the world?
You don't want to go there. That's not the military's business. The military does not need to be dictating to civilians what policy should be. You don't want to go
They're
there.
involved in climate change.
You don't want to go there.
They're trying to do that in Afghanistan.
Well,
We had activists
yeah.
from here in Iowa that went to Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, that's overseas.
And talked to the farmers on the ground.
You're wrong there. Every single operation in Afghanistan, in Baghdad, every single military operation takes with it the entire interagency team. That includes Department of Agriculture, that includes Department of Commerce, Department of Treasury, that includes FEMA, it includes now the FBI, who have offices all over the world for counterterrorism. Every time your military deploys, the civilian team goes with it, and they're in charge of that aspect of development, not the military.
Well, there were Iowa Guard people here
Yeah.
went.
Who were federalized and went. But they were under, when they were doing civilian tasks, they were under the guidance of the State Department, USAID, Department of Agriculture, Department of Justice, or whatever, not their own commanders. That's the way it works.
Well, how can we change that?
The corporation.
Ooh, you don't wanna go there. You don't wanna put the military in charge. You really, you don't, that's what I've been trying to indicate is a problem in this country right now. You've got the military in charge of everything.
Yeah, we're really glad to hear you say that. Because you're confirming what we already know.
Well, I tell you what,
In detail.
I tell you what, if you're in favor of that, I'll tell you the same thing I said on Chris Hayes' All-In show. If you're in favor of those kinds of things, put your sons and daughters out there to be drafted and do it.
No, what I'm saying is we're glad to hear you're confirming what we already know. We're not
Yeah.
saying we like it.
Okay, all right, good,
Yeah,
good.
And there isn't probably a person in this room that isn't very well informed about the Farm Bureau and their political connections and all.
I knew that'd be a buzzsaw.
And all of the money. It's all about the money.
You all wanna go over there with me right now? We're getting
They're as crooked as a dog's hind leg.
Okay, now, see, I've got some of my evidence already. Good.
She said they're as crooked as a dog's hind leg.
It was on my agenda. It was on my agenda, and I felt like I really got an exposure to something I need to deal with. I need to deal with it.
That was just a side question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, we are hearing that we need to be making many changes because of climate change.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get any direction from the government so far. Maybe Hillary might help, but it's not even a big thing on any of the political.
Well, with this
system.
memorandum, we now have the entire federal bureaucracy ordered by the President of the United States to make this a national security issue in everything they do. I think that's gonna change the landscape at least a bit. It's gonna allow at least us to become more public in our affiliation with the military. And it's gonna allow the military now, in behind closed doors with its armed services committees and so forth, to essentially start saying, okay, the president told us to do this. And they're gonna have a lot more power with regard to that.
As you go around the country, are you seeing groups that are civilian type groups that are not connected with the government but organizing themselves
Yes.
locally?
I've met several here.
Tell us about other places besides the state, because we know the ones in
Well,
Iowa.
let me tell you about a recent meeting I had. I can tell you about this in Iowa too, but I'll tell you about one out in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I was invited to come out to Coeur d'Alene to meet with a group of Republicans, and I said, why the hell do they want to talk to me? And I went out to Coeur d'Alene, and the leader of this group was about 35, multimillionaire, real estate guy in Coeur d'Alene. And he had a whole group of people there who were his equal or richer or younger or a little bit older. And he said, we're so fed up with the Republicans in Boise, we are going to throw them out. We are working hard to give the Republican Party a wider berth, to bring other people in like us, brown, black, pink, we don't care. We are increasing our power, and we're going to throw the people out. I said, what are your main issues of difference and so forth? He said, fisheries, conservation in general, game, rivers, water, trout in those waters, and all the things you might imagine an Idahoan would say, who was brainy and sane, and they feel the Republican Party is anathema to all those issues. They also told me about their fears about our incredible profligacy with regard to their tax money going for wars. These are Republicans, young Republicans. I had a similar experience today with Republicans from Iowa. So, and I've had an experience in Washington State and in Montana with the same thing. So, I'm given some optimism by meeting with these young people who are telling me the same thing I know from Washington, but they're telling me what they're doing to change it. While in Washington, I feel absolutely stymied. There are about 6 of us. There are about 6 Rockefeller, Lincoln, Eisenhower Republicans left inside the Beltway. And we're all, over 70, approaching the grave. So to see these young people and to hear them talk is really, really uplifting for me. And I just saw a bunch in Iowa.
We got direction from, the presidential candidate that did not win over Hillary. Bernie Sanders.
Well, I thought we had a reasonably decent guy in there too, and he was just nullified, and that was John Kasich.
Yeah.
I've known John for some time. He was a good governor. And John has a head on his shoulders for one of the issues in particular that we're buried in right now, and that is that we're the most highly leveraged nation in the history of the world. The debt in America is $254 trillion. That's unfunded liabilities on the government's part. That's credit card. That's all the personal and private debt and the national debt put together. That staggers the imagination. I can't even build you a warehouse big enough to hold that much money. It's incredible. Our debt load is just phenomenal right now. We got to do something about it. And John knows that. And John would have been a good guy in that region, please. Yes.
One question, if I may, I'm not sure I can phrase this quite right. You mentioned going back to the Syrian Civil War and how it was
A water
a
deal?
water deal, yes, and I don't doubt that at all.
There were papers on it. There's one out of George Washington called Water Wars, and that's one of the examples.
And that's been predicted for years
Yep.
in various places. So some people who are, in favor of certain political people are trying to say that it's President Obama and Hillary's fault as Secretary of State in the Mideast for things going the way they have gone. What would your response to that be?
I'd say look to the date in 2003 when we did an absolutely useless, counterproductive, massive strategic error by invading Iraq. That started it all. Let me tell you, I stand accused. I accept some of the blame for that. I should have resigned, I should have done more, not that it would have made any consequence at all. But I should have left, and I'll carry that shame to the grave with me. That was a terrible error.
Everybody stand next to them and standing ovation.
Go after that farm girl.
So I do want to thank you all for coming this evening, and I know there were some questions about what people can do. I know that several of the co-sponsors of this evening's event, including Iowa IPL, would love for you to join us and join our work and get more involved at the local level with our advocacy locally at the state level and at the federal level. So I hope you'll do that. I think Colonel Wilkerson will be around for a few minutes. If you had a question that you didn't get to ask, please step up and do that. But thank you and have a wonderful evening.
I apologize for that break earlier. My phone was only partially charged because I had it on since all day today. Now I was plugging it into one of my power packs, and my phone just crapped out, so I switched to my tablet. So I'm now on my tablet. So people are going to be milling around, capturing conversations. I'm just going to give you a look at the crowd that's here. It's probably 75. I suck at the crowd estimation, but there are a couple of some display tables. I'm going to go around and show you them. This is Interfaith Power and Light. on the banner on the table, it says cool congregations. People are signing up. Show you these little round stickers. This is a documentary CD. I picked up one of these. And just some papers. In fact, I think I'll take one of each of these. Signing up to join their mailing list. I already did that. Hello.
How are you?
Good. Now I'm going to go over here and I'll show you the other tables.
And one of our
This is Citizens Climate Lobby. I'll sign up there.
We're going to give people that have white hair and getting older performance bonus. And we're going to give them an opportunity to go down sailing.
I won't take any of those because there's only like one of each left, so I'm just...
And you're leading that effort. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Political Will for a Livable Future.
Oh, yeah.
Just people were picking up, let's give you a look at that. That's a bio of the Colonel. Excuse me?
Sorry?
That's okay. I think usually they're just stacked against the wall. I'm not sure which one, but maybe over there in the corner. I don't know. I'm just trying to answer a question about what to do with all the chairs.
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. He liked it too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hey, did Reverend Billy get sprung?
He got arrested, you know.
No, he
and-
got sprung. Did he get sprung yet?
Yes, we waited for 2 hours in the Cove
Oh.
jail last night and got him out.
Okay, and
they've
Frank
got a
too is
court-
out?
Court date set for October 20th, but he can't come to it. So the lawyer from Drake is trying to get the date changed along with
Frank's?
With Frank and Rick, and get a jury trial.
Oh, cool.
Now I don't know if they can get a jury trial, but they
So they both got sprung.
right. Yes,
Good.
they're all out.
Okay, good.
$900.
Ouch. Well, Reverend Billy, who was here yesterday and the day before, he was arrested yesterday along with Frank Cordero in our Occupy the World Food Prize rally and direct action. And so I just found out he got sprung. They did not stay in the jail as long as they thought, so they're not seeing the jail judge. So their bails got paid by an organization that raised money for their bails. And so they are out, so Reverend Billy can go home, and they'll try to get a court date where he can come because he wants to attend in person instead of just by proxy through our attorney. So that's good news that he didn't have to spend a lot of time in the can. Well, I see some people walking around with too, so I'm going to see if I can go have a little nip. So, but there will be more actions to come. Tomorrow I cannot go to the pipeline event because I have a meeting with the potential landlord since I am moving. I'm trying to get some buttered eggs that are more friendly to my joints because my knees are getting bad. So again, there will be more stuff to come. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the stream.